That's a gay-ass podcast.
What? That's a gay-ass podcast. What? A really, really, really gay podcast that we call That's a Gay-Ass Podcast.
That's a gay-ass name for a gay-ass podcast.
Aidan Wharton is a creator of Gay Buffet on Substack. He is married to Broadway hunk Casey Garvin. He's the host of the upcoming podcast Getting Close, and he is here to answer a lot of hard-hitting questions. Aidan, question 1.
Bam.
How often are you washing your hair? I've been told I've been doing it too often.
Too often? Well, I did just wash it twice because I got a haircut.
And why'd you wash it twice, before and after?
I have like really fine hair, so I just like really need to get it all. It just like covers me. How often do I wash my hair? I'd say like not every time I shower, but at least half the times. But my hair's also pretty short.
Well, I started to go to a new girly, and she told me that washing my hair every day is BAD, and she told me to do it at first every other day, and then every 3 days, and then once a week.
Wow.
I haven't washed my hair in like 5 days. Can you give me a compliment?
It looks incredible.
Thank you, Aidan. Okay, so now that I've
shiny, incredible, robust.
Now that I've fished, we have so much to unpack, Aidan. I'm just well, let's tell the girls. We really met, I guess, via Substack, because your Substack Gay Buffet is really amazing. You're not only a gifted writer, but you're so open about talking about sex, about horny shit, about your gay ass marriage, your open relationship. So after the paywall goes high up, we are going to talk about some of your real personal open relation questions, sexual past and present, and I've got some of my own stories to tell. But before we get into all of that, I want to give you a bit of a insight into something that you have done to affect my life, and that is fitness. Aidan.
Okay.
You just posted about Pride Fit, and guess what I'm doing now?
Pride Fit?
Pride Fit. And what am I feeling? Excited. But what am I also feeling? Deep pangs of trauma, and I might have shed a few tears trying to work out yesterday.
Oh my gosh. Okay, which program did you start with? Just whichever one. The basic one?
I'm like, I just, you know how you like uncover the traumas you thought that you like maybe had not dealt, or like the traumas you thought that were over, but they're like, oh no, they're there. I still have PE trauma.
I mean, I still have PE, like latent horny trauma from my PE teacher from 7th grade. But also PE trauma. Like, like just like jacked, bald, kind of mean. Yeah. The short shorts.
Sign me up.
I mean, come on.
Were his thighs hairy?
Yeah, of course. I know.
See, that's fun. That's fun, horny trauma. Mine's more like shirts versus skins, where I had a lot of body hair that I was incredibly embarrassed about. Also, like body image, I was embarrassed about. I do not belong to a gym, and a lot of it is because I still have the innate fear that a straight man will make me feel bad about myself when I walk inside.
Yes. I so agree with all of that. Like, again, I grew up in Hawaii and was a very chubby, very pale kid. So I also had a lot of that going on, but was also very tall. So I had to play basketball. If I wanted to fit in with my straight guy friends, I had to play basketball, but I was so bad at it.
Me too.
Like, wait, so bad.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
Oh my God, I'm 6'2" as
Look
well.
at us. 2'2". Yeah,
6'2"
and so I would literally like take the ball, shoot, miss, but because I was so tall, I would catch it, shoot, miss.
Do it again.
And that would just like go on during games, and it was humiliating. It was so brutal. But I wanted to fit in.
It's so funny how we align, because I have a memory of being like somehow alone at the court when the ball was thrown to me, and I was stared at while I lobbed that thing up one time after another. And guess what? Continue to miss until the other team stole that ball.
It's brutal.
But you seem to have like a routine where you're in the gym, and you and your husband both are fitness kings. How did you overcome your fitness trauma? You seem to have figured it out.
Well, then I would sort of like add like the gay trauma part. Well, now, now it's the like gay pressure, and is actually, I mean, I couldn't have had you tee this up better, but my very first podcast episode, which will air the day after this, is with Sam Light, who's the founder of Pride Fit. And I adore Sam. And I think the way that he approaches fitness is really wonderful. I did Pride Fit for the entire year that I was on tour with Girl from the North Country last year. And like, you don't have access to the same gym, you don't have access to the same weights, you have just your body. But that really got me through. And like I say on the podcast, what I really love about Pride Fit is it really does go beyond just aesthetic goals or measurement goals, and the ways in which they craft the workouts over 6 weeks. And then if you like build on them, for me at least, taught me a lot about discipline and what I could do mentally, which was a really unexpected side effect.
Well, I need that because so I did the onboarding call yesterday with Sam, and first of all, anything I'm saying about Pride or just fitness is my own fitness shit. Pride Fit, I can already tell, is great. I'm so excited for like the consistency, but I left the call feeling overwhelmed because we talk about like like nutrition shit plus fitness shit and it's just like it makes me feel, I just feel very inadequate. I feel very not in my element. And I like that he did say like it is okay to have aesthetics. Like it's okay to have aesthetic goals. Honestly, why am I trying to get in shape? Because I want bigger tits. I do want more flexibility and I want to feel better like emotionally, but I also just like want to like I want bigger tits. And is that so wrong to say?
Yeah. No. I did a photo shoot last April and I truly worked out so hard, adjusted my eating, did all the things like a crash diet essentially, because I was very intentional about the world we live in. And oh my God, this is gonna make me sound like a trash monster. But I was like, I need to like reintroduce myself. It was when my writing was taking off. It was when I was like really trying to focus on platforming. And also a lot of it had to do though with my perception of like age. I wanted to sort of introduce myself as an adult. And in my mind, that had a like physical component. And I asked Sam, I was like, are aesthetic goals like things we're allowed to want in this day and age? But I think
you're talking about with gay men, it's very much a pressure that we feel. What would you say is the part of your body that you feel the most pressure to grow or change when you think about like getting ready for a photo shoot? What are you focusing on?
Like truly the inch and a half between my belly button and my belt.
Isn't it funny that I somehow knew that you might have said that, because I have on my notes here that I find that abs are overrated, and I think that your stomach is delicious, and I think that you look incredible in whatever form. However, I am very lucky to have never had the true need to have abs, because I don't think I ever will.
And like we don't need them. They're like
why do you think you focus on that part though? What do you think is it like? What do you think it comes from?
I think it comes from the bodies I saw growing up. Again, like I'm so lucky to have grown up in Hawaii and to gone to the school that I went to, but a lot of it was, we'd have like beach days and we would have campouts, and all of my friends always wanted to go to the beach. And so all of the bodies that I saw as I was both understanding who I was and then my sexuality and what I was attracted to were all these really lean surfer kids, essentially. And
I can only imagine the Hawaii surf bod sort of infiltrating your psyche. It's funny, my biggest thing, I just wanted a single happy trail and no other body hair, and that was what I focused on for my stomach. But once I saw the full forest emerge, I was like, you got me, gal. There's no way I'm only gonna have a single trail, so I might as well embrace the forest and the trees.
I mean, hey, let's try. I've got like 3 chest hairs, maybe.
Well, you have
now I have like 30 actually,
and the 30 we celebrate. Whatever chest hairs you have are great. I am going to of course talk to you more about body hair because it's in my contract to get into fur in the second half of this combo. But you mentioned for a quick second that you did Pride Fit when you were on tour. A lot of people might only know you from Gay Buffet on Substack and your writing. Can you give us an insight into your actor journey, because you've obviously worked in some big shows, and a follow-up, are you still doing the full scope of the creator journey of both writing and podcasting and acting? Give us the sitch.
Isn't that the question? So I started acting in high school. Again, I went to a very small private school I graduated with 28 people. And I know, tiny, Hawaii. And I have now learned in therapy that I'm pretty sure a big reason I really wanted to do musical theater is A, because I loved it, and B, because it was not what anyone else at my high school did. My high school was like a Stanford, Yale, Brown, like Ivy focus.
Oh.
And so all my friends were going to Ivies, and I was like, yeah, but I'm going to musical theater school.
Where did you end up going?
So I went to Pace here in the city for a year, and then I transferred to Penn State for my last three. I
Wait,
wanted like a
that's
real
so
college
interesting.
experience.
I mean, yeah, Penn State
Yeah.
is giving college and Pace. I went to NYU, which is not real college. It is in
Sure.
some ways, but it's didn't go to a single sports game. Penn
Mm-hmm.
State, though, please tell me you lived the fantasy of going to a tailgate, being all broed out, and then you just dude it out with a dick in your mouth after.
100%.
Oof,
100%.
hot.
I know. We lived like pretty close to the tailgate fields too, and I like don't care about football. So I'd be like, let's just go home. It was great. So I went to Penn State, graduated, moved here, worked at the Apple Store for a while. That was my side hustle. Did the Wicked tour right before COVID happened.
Wait, I
and
didn't
then
know that.
COVID.
I didn't know that.
Surprise. Yeah, it was like 9 months. And
What was your track
super
in the Wicked
fun.
tour?
I was Elvis, who's the one who goes, "Look, it's Glinda." And then covered Fierro, which was a blast. I know.
Aidan, I'm gagged and goop head.
Me and Paul Schwensen, those white pants.
Oh my god, of course Paul. God, oh my god. Wait, you did the tour with
the
Paul?
sweetest. No, he came in, I think a year. Well, it was COVID, so a while after me.
Oh my god, I love learning more lore about
Yeah.
you. Look, it's Glinda. That must have felt so powerful to be able to be the gay
Oh my
guy that says
gosh.
that.
Yeah. And then getting notes on it though, I'm like, ugh, fine.
What's the
I was
note?
like, what do you mean it's not? I forget what the actual note was. I don't know. She
Please
had
tell me,
a
like, can you
problem with
butch
how
it
I was
up?
saying it. Maybe.
Look.
But it was also the best part is I was also that track. So he's got like the big Elvis wig in the start of the show, which is it. But he's also the boy in the skirt in Shiz.
Oh, sure,
Which was
sure.
really incredible. And I'd say one of my favorite parts of tour was getting a DM from someone who was trans or non-binary who just was so touched that was in the show. I don't know. I felt like a real source of like honor and pride to be able to.
It's very queer affirming
do that.
to have
Yeah.
someone. Did you get to go on as Fierro?
Yeah. And it was great because I ended up doing it with this girl named Talia Suskauer, who also went to Penn State. So she came in and was Elphaba, and then we got to do it together. And we were like, oh my God, remember when we were little 17, 18-year-olds singing these songs
I've seen
together?
videos of Talia. She's incredible.
Yeah, she's the best.
Do you have pictures of you in the white pants?
Of course.
Can you send them to me?
Duh.
Thank you. Okay, so you do the Wicked tour, then what?
I did the Wicked tour. COVID happened. And then coming out of COVID, I did Bros and the Fire Island movie. And then it was like a very gay fall, end of summer,
I'll
fall.
say.
And then I did Girl from the North Country on Broadway. And then was like,
Can you now skirt over it? So though, can I say Mazel Tov on your Broadway
Thank
debut?
you.
How fucking cool!
it was really,
the
it
dream
was really
came
cool.
true, Aidan.
And it was during Omicron winter. And so it
Sure.
was insane. I had joined the show learning like an ensemble track. I was a vacation swing. And then I had sort of brushed up on the two leads that I was covering. And we had done like one rehearsal. I'd been with the show for a week. I'd been in the theater maybe 3 times. And then everyone got COVID. And the stage manager called me back from the dinner break and was like, hey, so I know we like haven't really done any work on Gene, who's like one of the leads. And he was like, but you're going to go on tonight in an hour and a half. And like I couldn't tell anyone, and like I had to like go and like get my haircut and give them my bio so they could print it. And like what the ASM, like truly every time I went on stage, she was like, and then just look for me in the wings, come to me, and then I'll tell you where. Like it was truly unreal. And like I'm just so grateful that that's how that got to happen.
What percentage of it was a nightmare versus exhilarating?
Honestly, like 90% exhilarating, 10% nightmare.
Okay.
And the
that's great.
10% was only because it was medical, I couldn't tell people, but I got to really have it for me, and the perfectionist in me got to be like, oh my God, look, I I did it. Like everyone didn't think I could do it, and I did it.
Oh,
It was really
that's
fun.
wild.
And like a great group of people. And then I got to stay with it through June, through the Tonys.
Wow.
Although we closed and
wow.
opened.
Do you still audition? Are you taking a pause? What's the relationship to that now?
So right after Broadway, I was like so relieved that I had sort of checked my boxes.
Yeah.
And I was like, no one can take this away from me. And so I stopped acting for a little bit and worked as an in-house graphic designer for this little nonprofit until the North Country tour came along. And they said, do you want to take this on tour? And I was like, sure. I love to travel. Then coming back, which was like a year and change ago, my decision was let my boredom dictate what's next. You know, I like so many things. I sort of can't just focus on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so resolved to really dedicate my 30s to acting. And then my unemployment ran out and I was like, ooh, shit, like what's next? Let me turn on Substack monetization, just see what happens. And it like really took off in a way that I still find surprising and sort of have to pinch myself about. And so really sort of like made me grapple with if I wanted to continue acting or not. And then in the fall, signed with a literary agent at CAA, and then was like, great, this feels sort of like my path. And as much as I love acting and as much as I love my theatrical agents as well, I've been very clear with them about where my energy is focused.
Yeah.
I think it's much more validating for me to be able to pursue this path that has a little more agency, a little more linear structure, and I get to not try to fit myself into other roles. I actually just get to like be myself.
Damn.
Which
Well
I was
said.
really
It's all-
bad at as an actor. Like I was like, well, how do I do this? Like, what's the right way to do this role, to do this audition? And it was never my way, which of course is the thing that people tell you to do.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
that
no, I just
really-
want to like, hang out and like talk to cool people and talk about sex and write about culture and relationships. And it just feels so fulfilling.
Part of the reason why you and I connected is because I think we feel this similar sense of like perfectionism with the need to express ourselves. And so it's like, how do we try to find the balance between the two of those things? And obviously we also both love sex. We both love being gay sluts. I haven't asked people in a while on this series, but this is a good opportunity. When I say the word slut and we have a positive connotation, it's a celebration. Are you Aidan Wharton a slut? Is that a word you identify with?
I think so. I don't know if I identify with it, but I definitely like wouldn't say no. But it's like, have you read The Ethical Slut?
Yes.
Duh. It's like that. It's like, let's reclaim it. And I don't know like what it is about the word that, honestly, I would identify more with being slutty than being a slut, I think is my take.
I love. I mean, it's good because you can wear it on like a costume. You can decide to have a very straight night at home or a slutty night out, and
at the Eagle.
Both options are gorgeous and legal. Now you are married to the fellow Broadway actress Casey Garvin. I'll ask about the open relation stuff post paywall.
Obvi.
What about, before we get into that paywall, can you tell me about your first boy kiss? Was it with a beach bum in your Hawaiian high school? Did you wait to go to Pace? Did you wait to transfer to Penn State? Where were we first smooching a boy?
My first, like, what I consider my first real kiss was I had a friend. So it was my junior year of high school, between my junior and senior years, my summer. And I did Emerson and pre-college program. So I was in Boston for 6 weeks. I had come out to like a few people back home, but it was the first place where like a girl walked up to me and she's like, "Are you gay?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it was like, so there was no history. There was no baggage. I just got to be gay. And I had a girlfriend from Hawaii who went to AMDA. And she had a friend there who she was like, "You are absolutely going to be obsessed with this boy." My flight got delayed at JFK on the way to Boston, and they came to JFK to hang out with me, which in retrospect is crazy.
Wait,
Like, can you imagine from the Upper West? Yeah.
Your girlfriend in Hawaii, the AMDA girlfriend, sent a boy to JFK
It
to
was
meet
the
up
two
with
of
you.
them. So she was at AMDA and he was her classmate,
Oh.
and they both came. We like rode around on the air train for like 2 hours. It was so cute. And then I went to Boston and he came up like a few weeks later, and we just had this perfect day. And it was so cute, and like I was so nervous, and we basically just like walked around the park and made out the whole time, and then we became boyfriends. And we did long distance for a year, which is crazy.
And tell me, you were summer between what years?
So it was like right before my senior year of high school.
And he was in college.
Yeah, he was 3 years older than I was.
And so he's a college kid doing a long distance with a high school senior in Hawaii. And you are head over heels.
Head over heels.
Just losing your mind, waiting to be able to see him. When did you, I mean, not to jump to the end of the story, but was it able to last very long?
Not very long, but it felt like a long time. He and I saw him Christmas. I pretended I was his friend from school.
Sure.
When I went to see his family, I was like, no, we're just like friends. I was like made up this whole lie about going to AMDA, like the whole thing, because that's what we do. And then it was actually like ironically very lovely and sweet. New Year's Eve, we did this big celebration with his entire extended family. And then we went back to his house and we're like in the basement, and he was like, I have to break up with you. And I was like, whoa, what? We just had this incredible time together. He's like, yeah, like I do think you're the one, but I think long distance will break us up. So I need to break up. And then when you move to New York for college, because that was already the plan, then we'll get back together and do it right. And so I was like sobbing, but also like, wow, he loves me so, like it was such like a dichotomy.
Wow.
And then I think we still like talked a little bit throughout the spring and then sort of faded. But he's still like a dear friend. We don't talk a ton, but yeah.
He sounds lovely and
really sweet.
What a formative first. I mean, how lucky for you to be. That's pretty young to have those intense feelings. Sorry
I'm a
for
big
the crassness,
feeler.
but did you lose your V card to him?
In the AMDA dorms.
Shout out.
I know.
I lost my V card in the NYU dorms,
Okay, we're
specifically
twins.
University Hall on 14th Street.
Okay.
Very close, right by Union Square.
I'm
And
picturing
Academy
it.
Award nominee Stephanie Hsu was about 25 feet away from the first time I penetrated another man.
Does she know?
She knew then. Does she remember? I'm not sure.
That is iconic. Look at us. We have so much in
Look
common.
at us. I know. Well, did you top or bottom for your first time?
Bottomed.
And I topped. So now we're finding our differences, Aidan.
All right, should we fight about it?
Naked.
Okay, obviously.
Speaking of taking our shirts off, I want to go into the paywall with a question that gets us into our horny lives. Now, Aidan Wharton, you have many great essays on Gay Buffet about sex, about living our bliss. In fact, one of your essays is about the sex lives of open folks. Another essay you have is about how to have sex with your friends. Question one, how many of your friends are you currently fucking?
A number? A fair number? Like this is okay, my spiel is like, I think there is so much more availability in our relationships for connection, intimacy, depth than we are allowed. And you and I have talked about this on Substack Live, like, and I really think that, you know, open relationships aren't for everyone. They're very much for me. They're very much for me and Casey, and how we have sort of developed that. And it's so funny because a lot of the people who are very near and dear to me, who I also have sex with, like, we don't have like the right word for it, which is sort of my like puzzle.
Do you mean
du
to like
jour.
classify what the relationship is? You mean?
Yeah. Well, because it's right. There's friends with
'Cause
benefits.
you're not boyfriends, but there is
We're
an
not
intimacy.
boyfriends. There's an intimacy. I am a big feeler, and so I communicate boundaries very well, but I'm also like, yeah, if I enjoy you, I'm gonna like want to hang out with you. And if we also have sex, even better. If we don't,
Yeah.
that's also great. There's no right word for it.
But
To sort of, yeah.
I think it's hard to explain and it's hard to understand unless you've experienced it. And being fully transparent, I did not have a lot of those experiences of like being in my open marriage with Matt and then having the friends that I fuck until recently. And I have to say, I'm now completely obsessed with it. I think there's such to have like really great intimate sex with someone that is again clearly boundaried and also like understood of what the sort of positioning of everyone's roles are. It's so hot and fun. And to your point, life is too short not to have really great sex, whether it's in a relationship or outside of it, as long as we're feeling respected and consented and understood and all of that.
Well, I just think a lot of people view openness with a lot of strong emotions.
Yeah.
And the way that I've always prefaced it and the way that I prefaced it to Casey when I brought it up is like, I am a huge proponent of wanting to experience the breadth of life. I can't do one job. Like I just am so curious about living. And a big part of that also has to do with how much I enjoy spending time with people I love and want to have sex with. And in my head, I'm like, I view it from a place of expansionness. Like if I love my husband more than anyone else, why wouldn't I also want the most full life for him? You know?
Can you explain to me if you're hanging out with a friend that you know there's an attraction, but you haven't had the first step towards even a makeout or a fuck? I have a friend that I would like to fuck. And I'm struggling to make the first move or even have the conversation. Do you have a classic technique or a way that you introduce the idea of intimacy with a friend?
Is this friend single or in a relationship?
Yes.
Okay. I'm like a big communicator. And so I do think sort of a lot of my flirting, especially like in this digital day and age, like happens on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of also though, like friends who I've had that interaction in person where it's sort of evolved in that way. And again, I think it's like, yeah.
I had a friend, I was talking about this, and we sort of drafted a line.
Ooh,
and
okay.
give me a temperature check on this line. We're hanging out. It's great as it always is. But then when it feels organic, I say the question, should we be like friends who make out?
Perfect. It's perfect. I think that can do no wrong because they can say no. They probably won't. Like if you're confident enough to ask the question, chances are you know the person well enough that that is probably going to be reciprocated. I also like don't underestimate the power of a very well-timed sexy question. You know, like we were in Fire Island this past summer and just sort of like Casey and I and hanging out and this person we were with was just like, so should we make out? And like it gave us permission. We all were sort of like, is this going to happen? Is this not? And I think one of my formative New York sexual relationships, he was really big on asking questions in a way that was so part of the foreplay that weren't the sort of, I feel like asking for consent can really be made fun of very easily. And people are like, oh yeah, is this okay? Is this okay? And you're like, whatever. But he made it so sexy. And I sort of try to emulate that. I thought they did that really well and he did Rivalry. They showed, is this okay, consent conversations without making a comment about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that is how it works.
Well,
mind.
Speaking of your past, you have a really great essay that you wrote about dating a throuple when you were 21, which sounded like, again, so formative. And I have like very healthy jealousy towards you about that because, wow, what a great young age to be like fucking and dating and dealing with the dynamics of multiple other people.
Yeah.
But I do want to give you a chance, since I asked you before this, to think of any like other dating hookup stories. Does any come to mind that was either really exciting or crazy or hot or anything memorable?
Yeah. I mean, I think I will plug that own essay, which is Dating a Throuple is like a martini glass, because I do love it and have such a lovely place for those three humans in my life and my development. And a ton of my formative experiences when I moved to New York were with couples and this throuple. And that really gave me like a safe place to explore without the what are we questions. I mean, there was a little bit of that down the line eventually, but I just like really am grateful for all of those people who helped me have those experiences. Okay, sexy story time, which does have to be from the past because a lot of my sexy stories from the present are with people who I value their privacy. And okay, so I think I want to say again like 2021. And I had been in New York for a while, and it was a winter because there was a really bad snowstorm. So this must have been the winter of 2017. And I like blizzards really get me going. Something about like big weather events, like thunderstorms, blizzards, something about it is like exciting. The Apple store was closed. So I was like, oh my God, I have the day free. And I had been sort of like talking off and on again to this guy on Grindr who was again kind of mean. And I don't fuck with that normally. Like you have to be nice to me. You have to make me feel special. Like kindness is very important, but the attention was entertaining. And he lived in like deep Brooklyn and I was in Washington Heights at the time. So I thought, you know what? Work is canceled. This guy wants to go for it. So I was like, okay. So I go to his apartment. By this time it's like 4, so it's pitch black. And he answers the door. Not like entirely what I had expected of him. Like he was just like
For the rest of this interview, head to Substack, linked in the description. You can also watch bonus episodes with Mikey Graceffa from Death Becomes Her, Isaiah Rutledge, Sunset Boulevard's Jimin Moon. We have Derek Cage, Patrick, Nick, Thanos, Mark. They're all hot. The stories are amazing, and you should go check it out at substack.com/@EricWills, linked in the description. I love you. Bye.